This is my video essay for National Youth Orchestra, where I'm going to be talking about my most memorable musical experience. It was completely silent. I felt the eyes of hundreds of people staring, waiting for something to happen. Then it started. At first, it was a low, barely audible rumble. Then the sound kept on growing into a terrifying scream. The sound of the orchestra melded perfectly with this horrifying vocal sound. Now, instead of looks of anticipation, I could feel the audience's shocked stares. These are the images that run through my mind when I think of my most memorable musical experience. But I should start from the beginning and explain how I got to this point. This summer, I attended North Carolina's Governor School. This is a 5.5-week residential program that focuses on exploring the most recent ideas and concepts in academic disciplines and in the arts. I attended this program for instrumental music, where I played contemporary music written for symphony orchestra, learned improvisational techniques, and learned about important contemporary composers and movements in music. While the entirety of Governor School was an incredible experience, our final concert stands out as the most memorable. In particular, I remember the effect one of the pieces we played had on me. At this concert, we performed on a sufficient condition for the existence of most specific hypotheses by composer and throat singer Ken Ueno. This piece is a concerto for throat singer and orchestra. The composer Ken Ueno came and spent a week with us and soloed as the throat singer in our final concert. His music was unlike anything I had played before and effectively transformed my definition of music. The piece was full of dissonant harmonies and quarter tones. On top of this dissonant wall of orchestral sound was a throat singing solo. At first, I was repulsed by the loud, abrasive sound of Ueno's throat singing. It often sounded like the screams of someone in sheer agony. However, Ueno gave a lecture for the entire student body of Governor School and explained how he wrote his piece. I was amazed at the science behind it. He first analyzed his throat singing using technology to graph its frequency. He then composed the orchestral part to meld perfectly with the overtones from his voice. As we continued rehearsals, I began to have more and more appreciation for his music. The harmonics and quarter tones, which I had hated practicing, were now an integral part of the strangely beautiful wall of sound that surrounded me. While we had rehearsed the piece with Ueno several times, performing with an audience once more changed my perception of the piece. During the performance, the dynamic range seemed to grow exponentially, with the pianos barely audible and the fortes almost painfully loud. I became hyper-aware of the sounds around me, and time simultaneously seemed to come to a standstill. The piece ended with a cadenza by Ueno, which seems so much longer and louder in the concert than in rehearsal. Often, the audience plays just as large of a role in the overall effect of the performance than the actual performers do. In this performance, I could see the audience's look of shock turn into looks of awe and admiration when they had heard the entirety of the piece. Over the years I have played violin, I have performed in countless recitals and orchestra concerts, but none of them pushed the boundaries of my musical understanding or had such a powerful effect on my emotions as this performance.